Hey guys, it's your girl Eb, and we are back with another episode of More Than Conversation, where we do life together and
Talk about it.
I am here today with some of my amazing, outstanding, astonishing, every good word in the book co-hosts. Please introduce yourselves.
Hi guys, it's Ashleigh here.
Yeah, you see, it's your boy Ash, the amazing, outstanding, astonishing co-host.
And it's your boy Trey. If we did it my way, we do this every day.
Ooh, fun fact, we retook this and Ashton completely copied what he said the last time.
Because I'm original.
How are you guys doing?
I'm pretty good.
You're
You
good.
know, I'm happy you lit that candle. It smells nice.
Thank you. That's that mahogany teak wood. If you know, you know.
Yeah, you guys can't see the candle.
I don't know, but I guess
we
it smells good, I guess.
These two,
My week and my day is going great. I'm good.
my day would go so much better if you talk in your mic.
And speak normally.
That's what I'm doing.
I just don't understand. I don't.
I've got blisters on my fingers.
Anyways, Trey,
Why?
how are you?
You're right. My week has been good.
Sorry.
You know what it is? Being an adult, I work. I love working because at the end of 2 weeks of working, I get paid for my work. And with that pay, I can survive.
I will survive.
Yes.
I want to say that I'm okay, but I'm very uncomfortable right now. So yeah, you know,
But for the why?
Mother Nature is hating me because there's not a child in my reproductive parts. So
Why is it worded like that?
so the cramps are cramping right now, so I can't.
Cramping your style?
They are, because it's hard for me to get comfortable standing, sitting, walking. It really doesn't matter. I'm just in constant discomfort. But anyway, other than that, I'm fine. My week was good. I got a job offer that I'm considering, so I don't want to really go into too much detail about it yet, but I'm very thankful for it, and I can see God in it, so I'm still praying on it, but I'm still thankful to be given that opportunity. And is that everything? I hit 15K followers on my hair page.
Ooh.
And it's continuously growing.
Tell them what it is.
It's at Hey Locks Sister on Instagram. So if you love hair and you love locks, follow your girl. But anyway, so we've been on in a series at church called Dangerous Prayers that has been dragging a lot of us. Well, let me speak for myself. It's been dragging me. We were only on week 2 today, and Pastor Alex came through with a fire message. The first week, Pastor Guy came in and just talking. He was talking about like praying bold prayers. I think it was like bold, hairy, audacious prayers, and like not just praying them, but standing on them. And in the times where you're waiting, you know, you still like prep. So you pray and you live out your life as if you're prepping for God to come through and answer that prayer. And then today, Pastor Alex was just talking about a prayer that David prayed in Psalm 139, where he was telling God to search his heart and to reveal anything in there that's, what was the word? Reveal anything that's
Like sin.
yeah,
Real sin.
it was, the word wasn't sin, but yeah, it was like revealing anything in him, and
hidden
then
stuff.
and stuff like that. And I was like, it's crazy how we don't realize how much we tend to try and hide from God, who's all knowing anyway. So you know, jokes on us, ha ha ha. But it's definitely been an eye-opening series in regards to prayer. I know we've talked about prayer on the podcast before, but like, how do y'all pray those? Like, are y'all bold in y'all prayers? Like, are you guys reminding God of what his word says? Like, are we telling God, hey, yo, this is what your word say, so I'm gonna need you to stand on it?
Yeah.
We have a friend that literally, shout out to Nikki, would refuse to pray for patience because she knows when she prays for patience. Like, God isn't just going to say patience and sprinkle it. He's literally going to give circumstances and situations that
you're gonna be
bring
tested.
patience out of you. So it's just like, yeah, Dread, like, what are y'all thoughts? What's your personal experience with, like, dangerous prayers? Do you feel like you're not bold enough to pray?
I feel like God is making me bold enough. Like, he'll like show me something and I'll be like, oh, I want that. But then there's a fear attached to it too, like usually. And it's funny, Pastor Alex like spoke about that today, like how like your area could be like finances or a relationship, or I don't know, maybe kids, or whatever it may be. And that area that you're stressing about usually causes anxiety, and lo and behold, that's the area you have to trust God to move in. And that's where you feel the most danger. So God has been almost like, I didn't even ask him to search my heart, it just happened. He's
not
like,
a comfortable
that area.
experience.
And then I'm like, okay, now that I see it, I have to pray about it. And then he's like,
that's one thing.
Trust
you can't just
me.
ignore it. When he shows you
when
stuff,
he shows
you can't ever go back into that space of ignoring it, because now there's conviction because you're aware.
Yeah, because you're aware. And it's funny because I worshipped today at church, and we did a devotional, and we just kind of spoke about the message. And Nikki, again, shout out to Nikki. There's like a process to like the whole dangerous prayers thing. So it's like, first God has to search you, because like you can't really pray like a dangerous prayer. Wait, what am I saying? Okay, guys, I'm sorry. You can't really like pray for something that you're not necessarily aware about.
Okay, so
I guess the first prayer is like, search me.
Search
that
you
Psalm
so you can
139
okay.
like principle of like search me, and then he reveals it, and then
you can pray about it.
You can pray about it.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So then he stretches you. It was like that's kind of how we went about it in devotional, like the steps of it. And then after you pray about the thing that he has revealed to you, then you have to have him lead you in it instead of you trying to walk ahead of him. So I found that very interesting, like how it was broken down, and I can literally like see it like in my life right now. And it's so hard. Like the part Nikki was like the part about him leading us after like we see like the thing that like causes, I guess, fear and danger is like really hard because we're afraid. So to have someone else like lead us in it creates fear and anxiety,
and we don't trust him too. So
it gets challenging when because I guess as people we're so used to, I guess, leaning on our own understanding, leaning on ourselves, that we don't fully give God a chance. Or when it's time for us to give him a chance, we kind of like second guessing it. We like hesitant, or we like, God, you sure? Or God tell us something, or some like a path is open and we're like, I don't know. Yeah, like even though that's what we prayed for and it's been given or showed to us, and we're still like having doubts and being, I guess, not
what is the word?
The bird is the word.
Like a bad child. That wasn't that funny, but
I found it funny.
Thank you, Ashleigh.
Have you found the word yet?
This round goes to Ashleigh.
Yeah, she won.
You still suck, but
Wow. Wow.
Whoa.
I should have prayed before I said that. child who
Sorry,
always
train of
goes
thought.
against what their parent tells them to do.
Like
Rebellious.
Rebellious. That's
You're
good, yeah.
rebelling.
Y'all, I'm sorry. I'm tired.
Rebel. Rebel.
You said it already.
Rebel. We're being
You said it already.
we're being rebellious.
He's a little chaotic.
He's trying to push the point.
I want
home.
Ashton to take life so serious.
I'm so serious
today,
right now.
but
He's a
not.
little chaotic.
Yeah, like we tend to rebel what God even want us to do. Like He's telling us the Word says it. We prayed about it, and
Is
yet
it like
still-
rebellion or disobedience, or kind of both, basically? I
it's-
think they're
it's like the sa- it's like-
synonymous.
yeah,
That's what I say.
they're like the same. And I would call it bold, but like sometimes I do like repeat the scriptures and I say, God, your word says this and your word says.
That's what he wants us to
Yeah.
do.
So I try to do that. It's not easy because it's like, hey, big guy, I read this and it says it. I'm not seeing it, but that's a part of the patience part of it too, because he's supposed to lead me, like both of you said. Like we're supposed to pray about it and then understand it and wait for him to lead us into it. So I feel like that's where I have to better myself in being led by him fully.
So your submission,
Yeah. So
your submission needs a little bit of work.
All right, so I know my biggest vices, and I don't think I like to pray for them or pray about them directly, because I would pray to be a better person or whatnot, but I would never like bring it forward and be like, dear Lord, I'm struggling with this.
Oh, so you don't pray specifically, you pray very broad.
No, I pray specifically about the things that I feel like I have a good chance of changing.
Oh, that's real.
Yeah.
That's
But the stuff that I know
only
I'm gonna struggle
only
very
things you
hard.
know you could have control over, basically.
That's transparent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the
that's-
things that I
yeah.
know I will struggle with, I don't like to bring it to the forefront because
I'm not putting that on the altar.
yeah, because I know, like, not that I know, but in my mind is a good chance I'm gonna fold. And I
Yeah.
don't want to fold on something that
Yeah.
I've put directly to God.
Yeah, and you keep some things out of your prayer because you don't want to do the work. You don't want to go through the struggle. You prefer to be comfortable in it than go through the discomfort of trying to change that aspect of yourself and letting it go.
Mm-hmm.
That is very transparent because I'm sure a lot of people, I'm sure
Yeah,
we've
that's
all at
relatable.
some point or another done that. Like I would make an excuse to be a certain way instead of bring it to God and pray about it because I know I just don't want to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like for so long, I've literally said so many different things. It's basically a that's just how I am complex.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd say that's just how I am as an excuse to say I'm probably, instead of just really saying I don't want to change that about myself, because that's really what it is, and we don't want to be held accountable. So people will say I'm bad at names, so they don't be held accountable for
Yeah.
learning your name.
Wow.
People
wow.
say I'm a bad texter, so they don't have to be held accountable
To
for
communicate
not
properly.
exactly.
kind of taking it
So
as a
people want
personality
to say
trait,
they're exact,
claiming
and
it,
it's not.
and it's not.
It's literally not. Just be more intentional
Mm-hmm.
It's a
about
stronghold.
responding to people or being there for people. Be more intentional about learning the names of people that you encounter on a daily basis. Like
yeah.
we make hard things seem impossible. So when we say this is hard, what we're really saying is, oh my God, this is impossible. I can't do it.
Wow.
Because maybe the areas that you're struggling in will be a lot easier for you than you think. Or those are the things, based on our last episode, that are probably hindering you from that closeness and intimacy with God, because you trying to have control over what your relationship looks like or who you as a person looks like.
Yeah.
So you ain't giving yourself to him. You just giving him the parts that you're comfortable with.
Exactly.
Wow.
Or it's kind of like where I don't want to face it myself, because of course we know God knows our heart. So if I'm praying, I would think to myself, well, God knows what I struggle with. So I don't even need to bring it up, because he can go in and he could, start working. But of course, it doesn't work like that.
He ain't gonna never
Yeah.
do nothing
Yeah, 'cause
without
it's
your
like a
permission.
partnership.
Yeah,
You
you
gotta
see?
give him as much as
Yeah.
God rules. We have to give him permission. That's what prayer is: giving God the permission to step in
Yeah.
on our behalf.
For reference, it's like for a guy, you walking inside the barber shop and you tell him, okay, he can handle everything except for your shape up. Say you could tell him like, oh, I got this. Or a lady, you go inside, I guess the
Yeah,
salon or the
Mhm.
nail salon. I mean the nail salon or the hair salon, and they do your nails and everything. You tell them you'll put the gel polish on for the
Right.
shine or whatever, or you'll finish the back of your hair. What and then they do the front, and you go in there for their expertise.
And then you telling them how to do their job.
Yeah, afterwards.
And you limiting the job.
Not
that
even
they
not
could
even
do.
telling them how to do it. You tell
Wow.
them you're gonna finish it off or
Oh.
whatever.
You guys are
yeah,
yelling.
basically.
Or I mean, but when it comes to that analogy, the way how I'm speaking on it, I think it's more so like you saw the barber do it to someone else, so you expect it's a part of the package when you do it, so you don't bring it up.
Wait,
Okay, so you're saying like I've seen God change this area and a lot of other people. I don't gotta bring it up. He'll help me change it too.
Yeah, I don't want to bring it up,
You don't like.
but I want it done, but I don't want to bring it up.
you don't want to bring it. Oh, because
You
you're
want to high top
afraid. You're
fade, but
afraid
you don't
of
want to tell them you want to high
what-
top fade.
the process. Afraid of the process.
And then you're gonna be shocked
Not
when you
sure
get a
if I
You
schoolboy.
just don't want to deal with it
Exactly.
because you feel like you won't be successful at trying to fix it, or you just don't want to struggle with trying to fix it.
Like, yeah, it's
You're
the
just it's the comfortable
accountability
part.
Oh, being comfortable.
And that's funny because also in Pastor Alex's message, he was just saying how like we could confess our sins to God and talk about what we struggle with, but it's also just as important to bounce off other people
Yeah.
in like the Christian community to hold us accountable because
To seek
I was
wisdom.
listening to Tim Ross's podcast, shameless plug, I'm in the basement. You're welcome. And he gave a Bible verse. I can't remember. I think it was like 1 Corinthians. And it was just talking about how in the church, like basically at that time, I think in the church of Corinth, there was this guy that was sleeping with his stepmother or something like that. And he was in the church. And Paul was like, y'all know this is happening and y'all ain't saying nothing. You're just as bad as them. Like, he's like, I ain't called to judge people outside of the church because they can be doing that forever. But the people in the church, the Christians, the believers, oh no, I'm called to judge them. I'm called to call them out. Like, you can't sit by and know people living in sin but claim Christianity and not say anything. That's our job as believers, to call each other out and say, hey, that don't align with what you're saying.
And
Hey,
it might be tough. You may get some wicked looks from the same people you trying to
Help.
lead us to the right path.
yeah.
And it's tough because usually when you try to help people who has a problem or an issue or an addiction or whatever it may be, they tend to lash out at the person who comes to them for to help. So
That's
just
true.
be prepared for that.
That's true.
It's
Yeah,
up in the air.
Yeah.
That's that hurt, but it's just like we need those people that we could go to and say, hey, I messed up. Some things you don't even notice you're dealing with until it's pointed out by other people. Or
Yeah,
you don't
that's true.
get freedom or start to free yourself from that thing until you start talking about it.
Yeah.
That's why one day Ashleigh was over here and I realized how like mean I was or how like manipulative I was. And I sat there and I was like, oh my God, Ashleigh. And she was just like, wow. And I had to tell her about it. That's why when I do something,
But it was a very
or
beautiful moment.
like when I feel like I'm being like manipulative or prideful or anything in mid conversation or just being self-absorbed and self-centered, I would literally stop myself. Y'all have seen it. I'd stop myself and say, hold on, wait, it wasn't even about me. Let's focus on where it needs to be focused. Like you have to, whatever doesn't come up and out of your mouth through words will come up and out of your body through actions. So you got to talk, not only to God, but to people. And you can't run from God forever. I mean, you can, but it's not going to end well for you.
You tiring yourself out.
We think we know what's best for us. We don't. We have no idea. We could cry and weep and be sad about it all we want. We have no idea, and God knows best. So
Yeah.
even when we're grieving some things, we have to remember that, hey, this didn't turn out the way you wanted it to. You was praying for this and you didn't get it in the time that you prayed and all this other stuff. But it's like, I know what's best for you. Me.
Right.
I already knew what your life was supposed to be like. And I think sometimes even when we are praying boldly, we aren't praying for God's will. We're just praying selfishly. Like we're just praying,
like from the flesh.
I want this, and I want this, and I want this. And God is just like, no, no, and no.
Do that. It's not
because you're going to become a selfish person.
Yeah.
You're not ready for that. You're going to stop worshiping me. You don't need that.
Right.
Or the reasons why you want them are all just selfish.
Yeah.
You ask and you don't receive because you're just asking with like a selfish
Or, you know,
heart.
one thing that happens to me, if I'm praying and I add the part in the prayer of you like, you know, Lord, you know, let whatever happens be your plan, be your will. I start thinking of all the possible bad things that could start happening as a part of his plan.
Oh my gosh, you do that too?
But the thing about it is, like, Jesus promises us that we will find trouble.
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna happen.
But like I almost think that's a trauma response too, because I literally, because whenever I say like, God, like your will be done, and then I just start to think like all of like the painful things that could possibly just start happening.
But why not think of all the good things that
No,
could
but
start
like
happening?
I mean,
that's
that is
why
a good question.
I'm like rewiring like my brain now to like think like, okay, I've seen God like move in my life before, and it's been very beautiful. Even like in many moments, like even through other people, like in that moment you were talking about when you acknowledged like oh, like this is not about me, like let me do the opposite, let me not make this about me, but let's turn it back, you know, like stuff like that's very beautiful. And it's like in those little moments like you see God, and I'm just like, if that's how God looks, then why am I going to expect him to do something that's going to torment me and torture me? Why does my mind go to that? And I'm like, it's a trauma response.
Yeah.
Like straight up.
Yeah.
And then it's also like of course you trust God, but it's also trusting the uncertainty because he knows the plan. I don't.
And it's just like, what if I don't like the plan though?
I think we like to say we trust him, but reality is that we don't. We half-heartedly trust him. We don't wholeheartedly trust him, because as soon as it doesn't look the way we want it to look, it's like, oh my God, what is happening? I don't know what I'm going to do. And it's just panic and worry. Like our first response is never, God got it. Like that's boldness. God got it.
But the thing, like, sorry, were you about to speak?
I was saying what you was relating to, but how y'all had that moment and you basically experienced God within that moment.
Yeah.
I think because how we're believers, like we are around other believers, so we experience God within other people. But I think we carry that over to God himself and be like, okay, we experience God in other people, but these same people disappoint me. So we allow that disappointment to carry over to God himself. Like, yes, we experience God through others, but we don't experience people through God. He's just God.
Period.
Yeah.
That's a clip,
Wait,
right? Is that a clip?
I need you to say. I need you to say that again. Please say that again.
One more
Did
time.
this say? I ain't even gonna repeat what you said. What did you just say?
So we supposedly experience God through other people, and that's good. It's great, but we tend to carry that over to God himself. But we don't experience people through God. It's just God, and he is everything.
Guys,
Come on,
The mic ain't in my hand, but I would drop it.
That is so true. We connect how people have treated us to how God treats us. And that all stems from just not knowing him, not knowing his character. Like Ashleigh said in the last episode, trusting God comes from knowing his character. The more you know the person, the being of God, the easier it is to just say, I don't even know why I worried about this. Because he literally tells us, worry about nothing. In our human nature, we are going to worry. It is okay to feel our feelings, but you have to remember that our feelings are very fickle. They change all the time.
my gosh,
a lot of feelings are so fleeting. That's why you shouldn't even act on them. Like,
It'd be so wild when you witness it firsthand. Like all of a sudden you just don't feel it anymore, and it's like, I was really about to do this because I felt this way, and now it doesn't even matter.
that's why your feelings can never dictate
Don't let
your
it dictate
actions.
your
Like you
actions,
have to
right.
disconnect the two, because I
Oh no, go ahead. I just remembered something.
I've functioned so long, like acting off of emotions. So if you make me mad, I'm blocking you. If you make me mad, like really upset, I'm blocking you. And then like 20 minutes later, I'm mad no more. And now I got to unblock you and refollow you so you can know that I just block you because I was being petty. Like my feelings used to lead me to tweet subliminal message and subtweet and just be rude and to ask Ashton, slam stuff and throw stuff. And I'm actively working against that. When I'm really upset now, I've learned that what's the most helpful is when I just talk like this. And no matter how upset I get, trying to keep it here. And if y'all know me, I struggle with being loud. So now readjusting that to not let my feelings take my vocal cords above this decibel. It definitely helps when we in conversation. Because things don't have to skyrocket and get out of hand if I'm just right here. You cannot let your feelings, that is how we just end up back in the same sins that we running from because we allow our feelings to make us impulsive.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why when Ash said a couple of episodes ago, I had to rewire my brain from you're upset, you're feeling any type of feeling, go consume alcohol, to now you're feeling this, go pray. I have rewired that. So now my first response to stress and worry, anxiety, fear, being angry, upset, all of that isn't, oh my God, I really want to drink. And I'm just actually realizing this now. It's not, oh my God, I want to drink. It's, oh my goodness, I need to take a minute to pray. I need to step back. I need to breathe. I need to talk to Ashton or something more constructive instead of impulsively just downing some shots, because by the time I sober up, the problem will still be there waiting for me.
Right.
When I'm done.
Because it's deep. It's rooted deeply.
It's definitely deep. You don't need to just take the edge off. You need God to move the mountain. To move the valleys. Like
it's
come
not
on,
just the edge.
somebody. Hallelujah.
It's funny too, like, because a feeling can like steer you like in two ways. Like a feeling can lead you down like a dark path, or God can use that feeling to bring, like, to shine like his light on it.
Bring revelation.
To bring revelation. That's what I was noticing. That's kind of what was kind of like stirring in my brain and my, it was it. What? It was in there. It was in my mind. But it's funny because I was talking to Nikki again today. Shout out to Nikki. I was talking to her today about feelings, actually. And I was just like, when I was younger, like, and yeah, growing up, my feelings like have been invalidated. And, there's this whole idea of like God speaks to your heart, but if you don't even listen to what you're feeling, then how is God able like to speak to that area? If you're in denial about like, oh, like, because I used to be in denial that like I was like numb, because I've been numb, but I was like, oh, I'm fine. But like, guys, it used to be so bad. Like, other people would be laughing at stuff, and I would have to think about laughing and be like, okay, logically process. Like, okay, the joke is funny. Everybody's genuinely laughing at it, and I'm like, no, something's wrong.
You shut your entire, just shut everything off. So
it's like you have to acknowledge these feelings and bring it to him.
Yeah.
So that he can really like do something with it and give you a revelation like through it. And I was just telling her today, like, feelings, even though like they can steer you in such a like negative way, like my feelings have allowed me to hear God like the most. Like out of anything else, really, because that's like my area of trauma, being invalidated. So like he's spoken to me through my feelings.
What is
and
that?
Has revealed.
Keep talking, sorry.
And has revealed like his plan for me, like glimpses of his plan for me. That makes sense.
It does. And it's funny you saying about your feelings. I'm feeling your feelings because that's what Psalms is. That's all, Psalms is beautiful. I haven't read the entire thing, but the things that I've grasped from it, it's just like 1 minute David's like, I hated him, and the next minute it's like, God, you know me. Like, David did a very good job of encouraging himself in the Lord through his feelings, and I think we don't do that. Like, one of my biggest not fears, but one of my biggest things now is learning how to trust God through my feelings. Like, God, this does not feel good right now. I don't like how this feels, and I understand that like, we expect God to do, like, as soon as we pray about it, feel good. Like, as soon as we say amen, whew. And sometimes that does happen. But sometimes you still feel those feelings. And it's good that you bring them to God and let him acknowledge them. I realize that after praying, I don't feel okay, like, immediately. But I realize as time goes on, the weight, like, reduces itself.
I would say that through what you just said, Ashleigh, I think I just realized something. So I know that, like, when there's people praying, you know, there are those who are, like, super passionate when they're praying about stuff. And then there are also those who, you know, who are like very, very calm, very, you know, in tune or inside with their prayer.
Poised.
And that's how I pray. You know, I pray, like, on the inside. I mean, I'm not passionate about it because, like, every time I pray, like, I find myself at peace, and I try to, like, go through whatever I think is a problem. But because I don't pray with my feelings, like, now that I think about it, like, if I pray with my feelings, I think I'd more so know what's problematic, like, really problematic for me, so that I could bring it forward.
Guys,
I feel like you're just bringing whatever you think you should bring.
Exactly.
Yeah, it kind of goes the thinking about
what you're thinking you should. I mean, I guess I hear everybody else praying about this, so God make me a good person.
But see, because, like, when we talk to God, you know, they're like, you know, be reverend, like, whatever. So it's like, okay, whatever is bothering me, let me calm my heart and let me talk to God. But if I calm my heart and whatever is, like, seriously bothering me, I try to, like, push it to the side so I could, I guess, more so focus on what I should focus on. That problem is still going to be there afterward because I never brought it to God for real.
Yeah.
It kind of goes back to having him lead us instead of us like, leading the show.
Yeah.
Because I think when you think about, like, okay, I should pray about this, you're just like, okay, God, this is what I want you to work on. Instead of having him show you, like, through your heart, like, it, like, speak to your heart and be like, okay, this is what we're going to work on. Yeah. And I think that kind of is the difference between, like, I don't know if it's the difference between behavior modification, heart transformation. Because it's like when you allow him to speak to your heart and then you are able to work on it.
I get what you're saying, because you're praying as a behavioral thing.
Yeah.
Right? You're not praying out of, this is my heart to do it.
I need to talk to God.
Yeah. I had to acknowledge that with myself this morning, because I wake up and say, God, thank you for this day. Thank you for everything. I'm on my phone. And I was like, God, wow, I'm realizing that I'm not intentional about my prayer time in the morning. I'm not doing it because I want to connect with you the first thing I do when I wake up. I'm doing it because I want to tick, I prayed before I picked up my phone this morning. That's behavior modification. That is not hard. I did not have a heart for prayer in the morning.
You literally have a prayer checklist. You're like, okay, I prayed for family. Okay, I prayed for the job. Okay,
thank him for life. All right, now I can go. But, like, God can't get in there and fix the things you don't let him fix. It's all permission based. Like, yeah, he's the leader, he's the ruler, he's the king, he's King of Kings, Lord of Lords, all of that. He's that guy. But at the same time, it's like I'm talking to you. I say, hi, Trey. How are you? I'm good. Right? That's how we go to God. And God is just like, okay, then.
Are you then?
Okay.
What
but
about what happened?
But the thing is, with God, he knows. But he also likes to be invited in. God does not barge his way into our lives. That's why we have free will. He does not barge. He knocks at the door, and it's up to you to let him in and make it a home. Or if you give him the key and tell him he can't move in yet. He doesn't go based on what he goes on based on where we are. So sometimes you gotta untrain yourself. Prayer is not just, most gracious and heavenly Father, I thank you for everything in the name of Jesus, and I have no complaints, and I'm not hurting anywhere, and I'm not worried about nothing. I just want to focus on your goodness. But you're literally aching and
telling ourselves
dying
lies.
inside.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the part of us that he wants.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah, there is reverence.
And
Mhm.
But sometimes you don't even have words. Sometimes it's just pain.
Yeah.
It's just tears.
Holy Spirit
Sometimes it's
interprets.
just, God, I don't have the words.
yeah,
Help me.
the thing is,
Yeah.
we be putting on a front with
Mhm.
God, and He
So true.
knows our thoughts. He knows how we think. He knows
Yeah.
our inner being,
Mm-hmm.
and we try to put aside, like I was talking about emotions. We try to put aside the emotion
Yeah.
side of it,
Yeah.
but emotions is what makes us human.
yes.
Emotions is what allows us to relate to other humans, other people.
Yes.
Like, we come to God with our emotions, but we connect with Him spiritually.
Lord.
We don't connect with
Mhm.
Him with just our emotions, because if we just came to Him with emotions and not spiritually, we would be doing a lot of crazy things. If a lot of people, I mean, honestly, a lot of people are acting today off of just emotions and not spiritually. We should be connecting it together.
There's
They
a
shouldn't
balance.
be, yeah, it shouldn't be separate, because when you just act on emotions all the time and your spirit isn't involved in that, then we ask ourselves, well, how did the world get to this point? How did we get to this point? Where's your spirit? Where's the spirit in a lot of people that's been doing all of these things? Where's the spirit in when you've been doing certain things that would be considered just downright bad or
I think
appalling?
at
Like,
that point you'll know who's leading, though.
yeah,
Like,
that's
who's
what I'm-
actually leading.
that's what I'm trying to say. Like you shouldn't just allow your emotions to lead you. Your emotions isn't bad. It's
Emotions
how
are
He
bad,
made
yeah.
us. It's how we relate with other people,
Mhm.
but it also should be connected
Like, how
with
are
your
we,
spirit.
How are we
It should be
allowing
like
it
this.
to guide us?
Yeah,
Um,
and like we're made in the image of God. Like God has feelings as well, emotions, you know. Like that's what makes everything so real. You know,
Mhm.
your feelings, you know, your senses, your
and he
eyes.
sent Jesus too, and Jesus fully understands.
Yeah.
That's why
Yeah.
Jesus was sent here, because
And-
he was tempted
Exactly.
and tested and tried and everything. Like, so Jesus relates to our humanity
The humanity, yeah.
so much. And I know God is all seeing and all knowing, but I think even with Jesus, it gave him like more of an understanding of
yeah.
like who we are and like what he created. But like Ash was saying, there has to be a balance, and truthfully the thing that's supposed to be ahead of everything is your spirit,
yeah.
because that is our true form. And that's why fasting is so important, because it puts your spirit at the forefront, and you would know where you are spiritually versus emotionally depending on how you react in certain situations. Is your first response to anything tugging at you emotionally like toxicity? Is it pettiness? Or is it, oh my God, I'm feeling this feeling, let me go take a second to pray about it?
Right.
And you don't need a whole hour to pray
Right.
about it. Sometimes you just need 2 seconds to close your eyes, breathe in, and say, God, I need you to help me. God, I don't like how this feels right now. God, I am stressed, I am worried, or just like, God, help me to continue to get through this day. Give me the strength I need to walk through the rest of my work day. Like stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we just have to be very self-aware of where we are, because you can literally ask God for help in anything. God, I put my emotions ahead of my connection with you. I act on my emotions instead of bringing you into the situation with me to help me maneuver it. Help me to put my spirit at the front. Help me to put you at the front, your word at the front. I'm putting my flesh and my emotions at the back. That way I'm not allowing them to dictate how I move forward. Like, sometimes I think we overcomplicate prayer, and then we pray with an expectation that he's not going to answer or pull through. And a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. So I've had to be accountable to that. You know how many times I pray, and then in the back of my mind I'd be like, how is God even going to answer this prayer anyway?
Yeah.
And it's just like, you're so doubtful that you don't even think that God is going to come through and answer it for you.
Yeah.
You're worried about how he's going to answer.
Yeah.
When you pray boldly, it's like you have to come with an expectation.
Expectation. Yeah.
God is going to heal this. God is going to work through this. And you have to walk as if he's already done it already.
Just
Walk
put it on
as
the
if
table.
you've
Yeah.
already gotten it. God, I need healing in this area.
Yeah.
Like
He's going to bring it, but there's a part that you have to
God.
play.
Oh, Like, I want to add on to that. Like, God can be trusted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He can be trusted. Like, he has known you, like, since you were in your mother's womb. Like,
Mm-hmm.
he designed you. Like, he knows anything. Like, we, like, even at this table, all created differently, you know, have different triggers, have just different things, like, inside of us. And it just makes me think, like, why wouldn't we trust, like, the one that created us, like, down to, like, the molecule with, like, the situations in our lives. Like, that's not to say that life is going to be easy,
right?
It will not be easy. Like, there will be struggles, you know, and that's why we have each other and we have God, like, to lean on. Well, God first, and then we have, like, each other. But, you know, like, when he pulls through, like, time and time again, I've seen in other people's lives, because I think I'm too, like, new in the walk, honestly, to say, like, I've seen God move in this, and this way, but I can say I can't wait, like, to see him move, like, more and more and more.
Because you're expecting to see it in your life, too.
Yeah, and it's just, like, just his, you know, like, his, you know, when someone has, like, I guess a stamp, a signature,
Yeah.
just his mark that he leaves behind, like, in situations is like no other. You know, like, you can trust him, you know. It's like he just makes things beautiful.
Yeah.
He just will always make things beautiful, like, and I think that's something that, like, full transparency, like, that's something that, like, I'm trying to really, like, take in right now, that God knows the plans that he has for me. And he knows the desires of my heart, which are from him if I'm seeking him first. And that means that, you know, like, I'm not in this alone. Like, we're in this together. It's real. It's not a show. It's real. He designed me this way. And he's going to fulfill things in a way that I can't even imagine. Ephesians 3:20.
Come on.
So, and I can't wait to see that. When you think about it like that, it's like you're gonna run to him for that heart transformation instead of that behavior modification.
So true.
Yeah.
It's encouraging. So I'm finished. I'm sorry.
I didn't want to interrupt.
Yeah,
my
I
bad.
know. It's good.
But along the lines of what y'all was saying about no, you were saying it when you was like, you pray to him and then you still have your reservations after. It's kind of like a test of our faith, because we're trying to tell God, hey God, like, you know, come in, like, I'm letting you come in, like, my will is towards your will, so let your will be done in my life. But it's like we're inviting God to our home and telling him, okay, the back door is gonna be unlocked for him to come in, but we still putting the screen door in the lock position instead of unlocking all of our doors. We still got the screen door.
A safety net.
Yeah. We still have the safety net up.
Oh, telling him don't touch nothing.
Yeah.
Don't touch nothing.
But we're telling him, you know, the back door is open, like, you know, you'll be good. But then he comes and he's like, I'm not welcome here, because the screen door is still here. It's still locked. I'm not fully welcome there. And that's how we treat him at times. Like, we're telling him,
see
hey,
through the screen door, but he can't get in.
Because
he can see,
he's
but
not
he can't
fully
get
welcome.
in.
He's not fully welcome. Like, we're telling him, hey God, you know, move into my life, this, that, and the next. But we still try to tweak the things that we're telling him.
Yeah.
We micromanage.
Yeah. And who am I? Who are you? Who are we?
Any of us
to
really?
micromanage God?
Yeah.
Like let's be real. Like, come on now. Come on now.
FR.
Like,
Free?
Yes.
Freaking for real.
A lot of us are adults. We're grown-ups. And it still doesn't compare. Imagine a child telling their parent in the passenger seat.
God can use the most foolish things to
Ex-
confound the
exactly.
wise,
Like,
bro.
Imagine a child in the passenger seat, or not even in the passenger seat, because the child inside the kiddie seat, right? That's usually in the back for all the parents who are intentional about safety.
Hollering.
Hey, do your thing. But imagine a child in the back seat telling you, "Hey, mom, it's this next corner," or
excuse me?
no, not there. You gotta go to the next side.
Like,
This is a
first of all,
2-year-old, a 2-year-old, or
who
1-year-old
are
telling you
you?
what to do while you're driving. Imagine
Not
that.
even people coming into your house and telling you how to run it. You'd look at them like, first of all, you don't even live here.
Yeah, and that's
I'm the owner
still
of this house.
and that still can't compare to how we measure up to God. So how do
His
we try
thoughts
to
aren't our
micromanage
thoughts,
him?
his ways.
It's funny because we be in denial. Like, God comes through all the time. Like, I will be honest. In my life, I can't think of a time that God has ever disappointed me. But it's still like, why is there still some form of denial in there? Like, we're so caught up in the human experience that we feel like everything has a grain of salt in it. Know what I mean? Like,
There's a hidden agenda behind everything.
or not even that there's a hidden agenda, but there's room for disappointment. Know what I mean?
And there's no disappointment with God.
because
Eesh.
like people that we deal with disappoint us in our own lives, we think
God's gonna do it.
there's a possibility that
We
Yeah,
pray
and
like-
we look for it
We
first.
pray like, God, I'm
Yeah.
not really expecting you to, but if you don't mind, I would
Yeah.
just
Kinda
like
goes
it
back
if
to what
you
Ashleigh said.
could.
Yeah.
You know,
Really.
and
just
I think that's why we micromanage.
Yeah. If this,
Yeah.
God, if this available in your 5 o'clock schedule tomorrow morning,
Yeah.
I mean,
It's like we trust them, but we only trust them 95%.
but like
we need to be for real. We trust God probably 30% out of the 100 because we have more trust in ourselves than we do him. And we're like, we think we know better than he does. We think we know better than he does. I'm going to be very
So
transparent.
hard, though.
You couldn't tell me that I didn't feel like I was ready for a baby. I spent the last 24 hours crying because I got my period, and I had a hope and an excitement that, oh my God, we're about to be parents and I'm about to have a baby. Yet prior to all of this, I was praying that my body would function naturally. I have very irregular periods, haven't seen it since June. So I was just like, God, you're going to come through and do a thing. And I've been eating better and drinking my water and on my health stuff. And like, I was just like, yeah, my body's going to function naturally and do what it has to do. But then it switched from wanting that to wanting, this is giving pregnancy. It's giving pregnancy symptoms. It's giving, oh my God, we're going to have a baby.
Bundles of joy.
Then the night before, Friday night, I go to bed. I pray, God, give me a sign. Let me know what's up so I can understand what's going on. So I don't get my hopes up. The next morning I wake up, my period's on. I literally cry. I spent hours yesterday in tears. And Ashton was like, but isn't this what you wanted? And I was just like, no, but yeah, it's what I was praying for. But then I also had to acknowledge it hurts. It hurts because I thought that now was the time. And God is just like, girl, pump the brakes. Pump the brakes. It's not that time yet.
Yeah.
It's not that time. You think it's time. You don't even know what I'm protecting you from. I'm not saying no, because I've called you to be fruitful and multiply.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you not right now. It's like a 12-year-old wanting a Mercedes.
Yeah.
You don't even have a license. You don't even have a permit.
That
You can't
is-
even drive.
That is so hard.
Anything
though.
before it's time
Yeah.
Yeah.
is not going to be a good
curse.
thing. So I had to take...
We see our parents drive every day. We think, oh, this is
Exactly.
easy
And I
peasy.
had to take some time to grieve and feel my feelings.
Yeah.
But it was also like, God, thank you. Because now God spares our life. There's time to do more, to build more, to grow more as people, as a married couple, grow more in our relationship with God before bringing a child in. And I honestly can't be mad at that.
No, but to be real though, like God is like invisible. Like we can't see him, but we can see ourselves.
Yeah.
Like I'm like literally
that too.
like these are my thoughts.
Like,
I'm
I can't see
I
you,
can't
but-
see him,
Mhm.
and I'm praying to him,
Mhm.
and I'm trusting that he knows what he is doing more than I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And that, but that's so hard because it's just like I can see myself, I can see this table in front of me, I could see all the tangible things in front of me, and I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm more in control than
And that's
God
what makes
is.
faith such
And
a
it
big
is
deal.
so like, I feel like, I'm gonna be honest, like that is so hard when something is unseen and you have no concept of what that would look like in the natural, and but you know that this invisible God is gonna take care of the unseen stuff and bring it into the natural.
Invisible God gonna take care of your visible problems,
right? Like what does that really like sound like when you really say it out
and you
loud?
know what's crazy? It looks like you woke up this morning. It looks like you have limbs that work. It looks like you have a job that allows you to have money.
Yeah.
But none of that is because of anything that you did.
Yeah.
It's because of God making sure that things are still I mean, there's a partnership between us and God. God can't if we don't cooperate and do what he wants us to do. But like, we have to be careful when we say we don't see, because that just means you're not looking. Because there's
it's not the table.
It's not a we don't see. It's there. It's we don't acknowledge, because we think everything that we have and everything that we are and everything that we do is because of us.
Yeah.
And God is just like, it don't got nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with who we are, and has everything to do with who he is.
Yeah. It's
So
funny.
you woke up this morning.
That's
God.
good.
You got here in a vehicle that
Safely.
drives safely. That's
Yeah.
a blessing. We look at going and coming as an expectation.
Right.
No, you could literally get in a car accident on your way wherever and never make it.
Right.
God forbid that happens. But it's just like, oh, you don't see it? You live in a home with a blanket that's warm.
Oh.
There are people outside with they don't got nothing.
Yeah.
So it's just
Nothing to
like,
keep them warm.
it's not that we don't, or it's hard for us to see.
So
We
we're
don't
not-
acknowledge that
Right.
all of this is his doing. Because it is.
Because there's evidence.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Wow.
Like even in science, like you could create the parallel. There's so many stuff that happens in science. Like specifically, if you want to look at quantum mechanics, I'm not going deep into it, but there's stuff that you cannot observe like physically, but you see the evidence of it happening. Because why is there something called I don't think it's superposition, but like where like something can be two things could be true at the same time.
Is it I can't remember, like the more you live, the more you die.
I don't know what that is.
The more you live, it's a oxymoron.
Kind of like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
so it's kind of like a
logic.
Schrodinger's cat kind of thing, where it's like the cat is dead and alive in the box at the same time because we're not observing it, but evidently that's the way it is.
Yeah, it's all about perspective.
Wow.
And that's why in the song A Million Little Miracles, I like where it's like, I hope I never get over what you've done. We have to keep ourselves in a posture of consistent awe of God, because you don't have because of anything God didn't allow you to have. Like, of course, you wake up in the morning and you go to work and you do the work and all of that, but who wakes you up?
Right.
Who gives you the strength and the energy?
Yeah.
Like, we take a lot for granted. That's really all it is. It's not like he doesn't do, it's just we just don't see, because we're caught up in the human experience.
The human experience.
So it's just, oh, this is happening, and I did this, and I did this. I, me. And it's just, God is just like, you're forgetting.
And then when he
like-
blindsides us
like-
with something,
Like,
just-
it's like, we take credit for things that I didn't do. It wasn't even my idea.
Yeah.
We feel like I just had this strong. That was the Holy Spirit. That was not your idea.
yeah.
My page blowing up, I ain't promote nothing. I just post,
God.
and God ensures that the people that need to see it see it. That's just whoever comes across this podcast. Like, we promote it and post about it, but the people that really need to hear it, they come across it.
Yeah.
God is just divine. He puts everything into a divine alignment for us. Like, me and Ashleigh meeting was no accident. That wasn't my idea. My idea to meet some Bahamian boy from Nassau to help me learn how to work at a company. That wasn't my idea. It's
God.
God's idea.
God, yeah.
I don't take no credit for that. So I don't take
like
no
that example.
credit for meeting any of y'all. God knew we all needed to know each other, and I don't take credit for us going to Oasis. We accidentally ended up going to Oasis because Ashton wanted to play basketball and they had basketball hoops in the back. Like, everything is in God's timing.
That's true.
So
That's-
yeah, I could
that's
cry
so
all
good.
I want about not having a baby, but oh well, I have more time. God spares my life to be with Ash, for us to strengthen our relationship more, strengthen our finances, strengthen our relationship with. It's like there's no L to be taken here. Waiting does not mean you take an L.
No.
It's
Exactly.
God giving you more time
Wow.
to do what you need to do
Yeah.
Yeah.
to get what you need to get. But yeah, that's my mic drop. We had like 56 minutes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ooh.
Okay. All right.
It was one of them.
Yeah.
I just want to
Yeah.
end this out to say that okay, yeah, I'm gonna be bold and say it. We should be grateful. It may not be like that all the time, and that's not even a disrespect to anybody. But no matter what position you are in right now, like, always remember there is a possibility it could be worse. Don't try to say you're at the lowest. There is a lower point. No matter wherever you are, there is a lower point.
Yeah. And acknowledge that though.
Yeah,
Acknowledge
like
those
we
feelings.
have, so like, you gotta be grateful, man,
Yeah.
because it just like it's some real things that could happen, and
Yeah.
we just try to ignore it. So always appreciate the mini miracles,
Yeah.
you know.
Acknowledge your
And
feelings, though.
the song what you was talking about, miracles,
Oh, miracle.
miracles.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I can't
But
even
like
count
with
'em
that, I
all.
like to be careful because we could tell people it could be worse, but two things can be true at the same time. My life sucks and God is still good.
Yes.
I hate it here and I love God. I hate it here and I trust what God is doing. So two things can be true. Don't let people invalidate your feelings because some setbacks are happening. You are allowed to feel that, but do not stay in that position.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Yes, life hard. Yes, things hard. Yes, things happening. Acknowledge those feelings, but you cannot stay there. You got to get up and keep moving because the only way out is through. You ain't gonna get out by sitting there.
Yeah.
You have to go through.
And God still can help you through those tough times.
Yep.
Like the
Through.
amazing and strong man Job said,
Oh, Job.
should we just accept and be
Good-
grateful for
for
good,
good.
and not trouble
Oh.
from God?
How are we gonna appreciate the sun if it never rains? We would take the sun for granted if it never rained. How would we appreciate good things if there are never any bad?
That's
How do we appreciate God if there was never a season where we like God was all we had, where we needed Him,
Yeah.
where we had to get on our knees and cry to Him?
Yeah.
How do we appreciate when the sun comes out and joy comes in the morning
Mm-hmm.
if we never experienced?
Only know the
The
high when you're
weeping.
feeling low. Only know the sun when it
On that
starts
note,
to
guys,
snow.
I guess
Only
any
know
any
the
other
love
last
when you
words?
let it go.
Yeah. When they didn't sing it.
You can you?
Oh, okay. So my last words are, back to what we originally, what we began speaking about.
Yeah, because how
dangerous
did we
prayers.
get here?
I mean, no, we're at a good place, so it doesn't matter to me. But in terms of dangerous prayers, just bring it forward, because as much as there might be trials and tribulations, all of that is, in the name of you growing spiritually as a person. You getting closer to God, so bring it forward and put it on the table. Whether it's your biggest vices, no matter how ashamed you are of it, God already knows your heart. And I learned that today, so you might as well bring it forward.
Might as well. You got anything, Ashleigh?
So many nuggets. That's all I got.
Look at all in. Well, guys, we
Got all these
appreciate y'all so
chickens.
much for hanging out with us. This has been More Than Conversation. Y'all already know this is where we doing life together and talking about it.
Tell them about it.
And yeah, we'll see y'all again next week.
Be breezy.
MTC on
Easy.
3, guys.
I can see stars across the sky.
Oh my gosh. 1, 2, 3. MTC.
MTC.
Bye, y'all.